Welcome to another episode of the Roughly Related to Reselling podcast. My name is Perry Phillips. I go by Perry Flips on Instagram, Pothead Picker on X or Twitter. Flips and Giggles is the Facebook page. It's also the eBay store. And then if you like the show, make sure you subscribe, tell a friend, spread the word. Make sure you hit the notifications so you're notified every time a new episode drops, and episodes are available wherever you get your podcasts. And then, every episode's now available on YouTube, just audio only. So, most of the time I listen to podcasts anyway. Like the ones that have video, I listen to on the go. I never have time to just sit and watch a podcast. I know some people do like to watch it, but that's crazy. I can't just sit down and be like, well, let's watch a podcast now. I have to have it on while I'm doing something or while I'm driving, or I can't just sit and watch it. It's dead in the middle of summer right now, almost like smack in the middle. Oh, I tried to do that before. Sorry, I tried to do that before and it didn't work. So it's like another week and a half or so of July. It just kind of flies by, man, especially if you live in a place like New England where the winter just is like always right around the corner. And the winter sucks in New England. It's like as soon as that's like it starts to get close to winter, I'm just like, man, I'm 100% going to be a snowbird. Like probably sooner rather than later. I can't do it, dude. I hate the cold. I used to be like, I love the cold. I used to think it was cool because you could go outside and like put your beer in the snow while you were drinking, and I'm like, oh, this is why the snow is cool. You know what I mean? Now it's kind of fun when like you have snow because you have like kids and shit. But like lately there hasn't been much snow. I mean, obviously it's like it, ebbs and flows as far as the weather goes. But yeah, lately we haven't had much snow the last couple years, and so it's like, all right, well, you've got like. The best part of like the winter is playing in the snow with your kids. So you just get like the brutal cold and ice and no snow, and you're like, this fucking sucks. So I don't even know why I'm talking about winter right now. It just sucks because once you get to this point in the summer, you just start thinking like, oh, the yard sales are going to start slowing down any minute. But there's still like the biggest yard sales of the year that are still to come, for me anyway. So I think I'm just kind of getting ahead of myself. But yeah, it's like right in the middle of the summer. So we've already done a couple of our trips. Super busy. That's why I'm late on the podcast. I tried to get it done yesterday. I mean, obviously one day doesn't really matter. Last week was we had my daughter's birthday party. And then my friend's kid, it's always her birthday like the same weekend. They do the party the same weekend, so it's like we do whatever day they don't do or whatever day we don't do, and then it's like it's just no time to do shit. So because then we went camping after that. We had like a day or two in between there, and my wife worked, and I had to basically like get us set up for camping, try to clean the house because I hate going on trips and coming back. We tried to clean, but because we were pulling shit out of everywhere. And here's the thing, it was like a Christmas in July. I think I said that was the theme earlier. So it's Christmas in July, so we had to go into our fucking attic, pull out a bunch of Christmas decorations. So it was like, we cleaned up, and then there's just Christmas shit everywhere. And now that's Christmas shit's down here, and I have to put it back up again halfway through the year. So it feels like I'm already to Christmas. I don't like Christmas in July. I thought it was going to be like, because we went to like a campsite and they do like, different themes every week. And we went to Halloween there, and Halloween was like bumping. That was like the big party weekend. It was like people were giving out booze to the parents as you were walking around. And again, I'm not like, big booze. I don't even think I think I didn't drink half the shit because it was all like, fruity, like fucking Fireball and all that nasty shit. So I don't think I drank any of that stuff. But like, that energy of just like, them partying, I thought that would carry over to like the Christmas stuff. And Christmas in July was not, there was like maybe 2 people that were like going hard in the paint for Christmas in July. We put up Christmas decorations, but like nobody else. There was other people that put up direct decorations, but I thought it would be like, winter wonderland at night, and it was not. It just looked like a regular ass campsite. Which is fine. I mean, I didn't need all the fucking Christmas stuff, but it was just, I don't know how I got talking about Christmas in July. But anyway, yeah, halfway to like the end of the summer, pretty much. Yeah, I mean, yard sales, it's been, again, I think I say this every year. It's been like kind of a weird yard sale year already. It was raining a lot earlier in the season when it was cooler, and now it's kind of hotter. And so like, I think like I'm just in a bad yard sale area. Like, you know how like some places you go, you just get shitty cell reception. I think that there's just places that aren't great for yard sales. And now that doesn't mean that I don't do well. It's not like it's, it's just there's not a ton of yard sales. So it's like you either got to do like a lot of driving, or you got to be just better at finding ones that aren't listed. And then like, hope that there's one, the pop-up ones. Like it was a beautiful weekend this past weekend. I maybe found one pop-up yard sale. And it was like, it wasn't that great. It was like furniture. It was almost all furniture at this yard sale. But yeah, other than that, like usually there's like a few pop-up yard sales, and it was a gorgeous weekend, and it wasn't happening. So I'm not sure. I think I might just live in a place that's not great for yard sales. I'm going away this weekend. I'm going to be going up to Maine. And anytime I go up that area, like I always do pretty well as far as yard sales. I might travel a little bit further north, like to go to some sales like kind of off the beaten path, and hope that I can't, do really well and pick up a bunch of shit. Yeah, if you recall, I think I told the story like a year ago when I was in Maine a few years back. That was where we were driving to leave to go home. And like there was I forget which day it was. I think we went there. I'm trying to remember because we hadn't been to this thrift store yet. So I don't know if it wasn't open or if it was, or we just didn't go in. But anyway, we were driving home and leaving for the end of the trip. Like literally on our way out on the road you take to get out of there. And there was a thrift store. My wife was like, "Do you want me to stop?" And before I could even answer, she just pulled in. And I know I've told this story before, but whatever, it's a good story. So I went in, and like they didn't have a ton of shit in this thrift store. It was like a, whatever little store. But they had like an upstairs section with a bunch of like old like kids toys, like, shitty kids toys, like, baby stuff, and nothing like really worth anything. But it was like $5 for $1 on those stuffies or something like that. So I just grabbed 5 of them, like, there was a couple things I probably could have made a couple bucks on. And then there was one that was like from the 80s that was like, kind of half plush, half vinyl. It was pretty ugly. And I took that one and I kind of just threw it in a pile, was hoping to get to it at some point. Finally got to it, and it ended up being worth like a lot of money. I mean, for a stuffed animal, you know what I mean? It was worth like, I think I ended up selling it for like $12.75 was like the final bid. I put it up on eBay for like auction, and I started at like $150. And somebody messaged me right away and was like, "I'll give you $600 for this right now." And then, but I had already had a bid, so I was like, "Sorry, there's nothing I could do." And then like somebody else offered me like $1,000, so I was like, "Oh, this is gonna be." So I was hoping it would go for more, but it only ended up selling for like just under $1,300, which again was pretty fucking sweet. But yeah, I paid 20 cents for that in that little shop. So we haven't had a find like that since we've been back there. I mean, every year we do okay. Last year was probably my worst year finding stuff up there. But we also came like after the yard sale day. It was like most of the yard sales happen on Friday, and we came up like Saturday. So it was like the second day. We still found some stuff, but it wasn't anything like crazy good. So I'm hoping like this year, because last year I found a couple decent things, but I'm hoping this year again to find some home runs, and especially because this last week sucked. Like this last week going out to yard sales, it's probably the worst of the season. It wasn't like, horrible, but I got like an iPad, like a rose gold iPad, like a smaller one. It's a fairly newer one. But it only sells for like 50 or $60, which I only paid like, I think $5 for it. But that's like something that my wife can use. So I gave that to her. So now she has her own like iPad. There's like, a couple old electronics, not really any clothing. I found a couple like Adidas tracksuits, a couple things, nothing crazy. It wasn't even anything that I wanted to be like, oh, let me post about my finds for this weekend. 'Cause it wasn't anything like super exciting. Not that it has to be super exciting. It was just like nothing I even got to because I was so busy. But yeah, even Sunday, it was like usually a combined, it's like, one day's better than the other, but it was both of those days kind of sucked. And again, I'll make a little bit of money, but it's just, sometimes those weekends happen. My eBay store has been really hot lately. I almost said really fire, but it's been really hot lately. Been like selling a lot of shit. I think I talked about those Mario plush. I got those Mario plushes a couple weeks back, if you recall, at a sale. I think it was out in like Western Mass. I don't remember. We've been all over so far. And it was like my last stop, and they had like a box of Mario plush. It was like Mario and a couple other things mixed in. So I was like, oh, how much for the box? And she did $15 on the box. And I've sold a couple other things that I got there. I sold I had a Barney bag, and then I had a statue from a PS2 video game. So those were both there, and I sold both of those for I paid $15. I sold those for like $70 for the two of them. So already was in the profit. And then I started looking up some of the Mario. I thought it was just, run-of-the-mill Mario shit. Like, there was one doll that looked like it was like a Namco doll. But I didn't actually look at the tags. I was just like, whatever, $15. I'll, lot them up if anything, worst case scenario. And I started looking them up, and they were almost all worth selling by themselves. I sold most of them already. I sold one for $250. I sold another one for $175. Sold another one for like $80 to $90. So, like, these things were going for good money. And I sold them all pretty quick. One person bought 4 of them. So, like, got some combined shipping. So, they got a little bit of a discount on those. But, yeah, I mean, I made my money back and then some on those. So, yeah, I'm really hoping to have a yard sale soon. I think I might just have to bite the bullet and have one when we get back from our vacation. We'll try and do one on a Friday, but it's hard because my neighbors are, like, trying to be involved now. So I might just be like, yeah, I'm going to do on Friday. And if you want to do it Saturday, you're more than welcome to. But I'm just doing Friday this week. Because I have so many clothes and shit. Like, I need resellers to be coming through. I need to be, like, very busy with resellers. To just buy up as many clothes as they can. It's all good shit from that last storage unit. I don't know if I finished talking about that storage unit at all. I can't remember. It's been a couple weeks since I've done a podcast. So, I stay busy. I'm always doing some reseller-related shit. But yeah, I got a storage unit a couple weeks ago for $10, and I didn't bid on. I bid on it once. Like, I think I put like a max bid of like $30, because I was like, I don't really want anything from this unit. Like, I'll take a chance. It looks like it could be just clothes, and so nobody else bid on it, surprisingly, and I ended up getting it for my opening bid, which was $10, and a lot of it was like empty boxes. So like, I just had to break down a bunch of boxes, and then there was like a couple things in each box, and then the majority of it was just clothes. There's some tires that I have to deal with, which I'm kind of annoyed about, because I think last time I just had to give them away for free. And it just sucks because you just feel like there's got to be a way to sell them. Like, I called this place that sells used tires, and they're like, we don't buy used tires. I'm like, well, where do you get the used tires that you're selling? Like, a donation, like, you can recycle them to them, and you pay them to do it, but they don't just, like, it doesn't make any sense. I'm like, so are you just taking the ones you recycle? Like, I don't know. So I'm hoping that I can just get rid of those, but it's like all it's not like anything crazy, like, high end brands, but it's like higher end brands, it's like right below the top shelf. It's like Express, J. Crew, Abercrombie, like that type of stuff. So, and it's all clean and good shape. So I'm going to sell it like cheap as fuck. So hopefully people just come ready to buy a ton of stuff. Yeah. And hopefully my neighbors still want to do something. So I'm hoping I can do that like in 2 weeks. Because I'm just like, I have so much shit again. It just piles up, especially when I do a storage unit. But I've got like 6 totes worth of stuff from that storage unit of just clothes. If I do like 50 cents a piece on everything in those totes, I would probably make like, $1,000. There's just that many clothes in there. But yeah, I'm hoping to make some deals. We'll see. We shall see. But yeah, this weekend, man, it was like I didn't find too much stuff. And I also didn't drive around too much. I did get into not an altercation, but like not even an incident. It was just I went to a yard sale, and it was in this like little town. And they have this event every year. And I wasn't even anywhere near the event. I was like kind of off in like the sticks, coming into town in like the middle of like, wherever. Supposedly this was a busy like main road, but it looked like a fucking side street to me. You know what I mean? It looked like a busier side street. And so this was that sale that was like all furniture. So I pulled over to the side of the road, put my hazards on. I'm like, I'll just jump out, look real quick. So I looked, asked the guy if he had any clothes. He's like, I've got these work jackets. I can go in and grab them for you. So he like went in, and as he was in the house going to grab them, I look over and this cop pulls behind me with his blues on. I'm like, oh fuck. So I go over and he's like, is this your car? And I'm like, oh yeah, I'm just getting ready to leave. And that should have been it. Like, okay, thank you. You know what I mean? That should have just been the end of the conversation. You know what I mean? But this fucking dickhead, he's like, well, what makes you think you can park your car here? I was like, I don't know. There was no signs. It's a side street. This is one of the busiest streets in, I don't want to say the town name, but he's like, this is one of the busiest streets in blah, 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 blah. And I go, yeah, I mean, I thought it was a side street. I don't know. I don't live here. I'm sorry. I don't know. I didn't know. Like, I felt like I was talking to my wife when she says something, and I'll be like, yeah, I don't know. And she'll be like, well, and she'll just keep going. Like, I already said I don't know. Like, do you want me to get in a time machine? And like, I didn't know. I'm sorry. I didn't realize. You know what I mean? It was like kind of like that. He just kept being like, well, why? You didn't know you couldn't park here? There doesn't need to be signs for you to not know you can park here. And I'm just like, well, all right, well, I'm leaving now. So I didn't know. I don't know what you want me to do. Like, you know what I mean? But it was like, if that was any other road in any other town, it wouldn't be a busy road. And I'm pretty sure he was full of shit. Like, you can fucking park wherever you want. And then I went like 2 seconds down the road because he's like, oh, there's not going to be signs everywhere that say you can't park. And I drive 2 seconds down the road and there's fucking no parking signs everywhere. So yes, dickhead, there are no parking signs everywhere where you can't park. So that just kind of got annoyed. It didn't like annoy me. It just annoyed me at the time. And then I left and I forgot. I was like, oh, that guy probably came out with those jackets. It was like, where the fuck did that guy go? Either that or you saw me like getting into it with the cop. But I was like, I'm not trying to get fucking arrested right now. I'll deal with this fucking nonsense. So yeah, I just, it was just funny. He's just like, you can't park here. I'm like, there's no fucking signs. Like, yes, it might be it wasn't even like a highway road. It was just like like a side street. There's trees everywhere. I pulled over to the side of the road. I'm like, hey, you can fucking park here, buddy. So it was just the fact that he was trying to tell me I couldn't park somewhere where I'm like, there's no signs stating you can't park here. Like, you're just full of shit. If it was a fucking issue, I would have a ticket right now, or you'd be fucking throwing me in handcuffs. But it's not, because you're fucking stupid. So I don't always get into it with cops every time, but when they're like dickheads like that, it's just like, fuck off, dude. I stopped for the yard sale, and then he didn't even say anything to like the yard sale people. Like tell them like, hey, dude, you gotta like tell people to park in your driveway. He didn't even say anything to them. He was just fucking talking shit to me. I'm like, talk to the people that are gonna be causing a traffic jam all day with their fucking yard sale. They didn't even have good stuff. All they had was stupid fucking furniture. So, but yeah, and then I realized it was like their like big celebration day. So he was probably already like, annoyed that he had to work that shit. But I went down, there was a couple yard sales, but I think they do that every year. It's like a little fest that they do every year, and then people set up yard sales and stuff. Parking is almost impossible. Like you got to park on side streets. So I went down, parked, went to like one sale, and I could tell he was like a flea market dealer or some shit. I was like, I'm just gonna go somewhere else. So I went to a few different sales over the weekend, and yeah, it was all just a lot of like kind of shit. The weekend before was fucking amazing. So it just kind of really depends. It was like this week, it was like obviously Fridays, every Friday there's like nothing. But so I'm excited to go up north because there's going to be Friday sales, possibly even Thursday sales. We're going to be up there from Wednesday to Sunday. So I'm hoping to hit a bunch of sales. Hit some thrift stores because I got some good ones up there. Do some fun shit with my family. And then, call it a day. So yeah, a couple weeks ago I went to, there was a sale because it was like that weekend was almost like this weekend where it was like there was nothing going on, like not a ton of sales. I drove around quite a bit that weekend. And then I went to this one sale at the end, and I was like, all right, let me go to this sale. It was a, poorly advertised sale later in the morning. I got there was nobody there, but they had a shitload of sneakers. And they were like good sneakers too, like Nike and, I'm trying to think of a lot of Nike. I'm trying to think of some other good brands. I can't like think off the top of my head. But then I saw a pair of Balenciagas that were like almost brand new. So I grabbed those, got those authenticated. They were legit. I figured if I got those authenticated, and all the other ones would probably be legit. They all look legit. I mean, it was like this lady was selling her son's shoes, and she knew nothing about them. I knew nothing about them, you know what I mean? I think I got like 17 or 18 pairs of sneakers, and I think it ended up coming to like, that was a different thing. I thought I sold another pair of sneakers just now. I was like, oh shit. So it ended up coming to like under $9 a sneaker when all was said and done. And I also got an old iPod and an old Texas Instrument calculator. So I think I paid $155 for everything, and I sold the calculator and the iPod like right off the bat for, what was it? I think $70. So it was like almost half of it right there. And then I've already sold a couple shoes, so I've already broken even. And I still have a bunch of shoes. I actually sold the Balenciagas, but the fucking asshole hasn't paid yet. So today was their last day to pay, so I doubt that they're going to pay. They're still listed. I mean, eBay does that bullshit where it just stays listed. So hopefully somebody else buys them after their time runs out. But yeah, I bought that stuff. Like I went there, bought a bunch of shoes. I might have already told this story, but whatever. The last podcast I did, I was like even more short on time than this one. This one, I'm doing it like late in the day. I tried to do it yesterday, and I told my wife I had like kind of a mini bit like hissy fit. Because it was just one of those days, it was like the fucking Limp Bizkit song. It was just like everything was pissing me off. Like I was on my man period. And so like my wife was fucking around. And when we got home, like we just got home from camping, and like we kind of camped this weekend. Like we got home and we were cleaning some shit up. And our friends had stayed at the campsite. And it was like probably less than 15 minutes from our house. So we were like, all right, we'll go back, let the kids swim, whatever. So we kind of were back and forth from the campsite this weekend after we were done camping. And so I had told my wife, like, oh, I want to do a podcast today. This was yesterday when the kids are down. And so she was fucking around, like the washer broke. And it's not something she's probably qualified to fix, but it's like certain things she's just like, I'm going to fuck with it. So I'm like, all right, whatever. You do you. Like, she never fucks the shit up more, you know what I mean? She kind of knows what she's doing. We don't, like, take traditional gender roles in this house. I'm not a handy dude. I do a lot of handy shit now that I'm a dad and I have to. But there's some things where I'm just like, just call somebody. Like, you know, I don't fucking know about that. So she called somebody. He ended up coming today. And it's going to be like almost as much money as we paid for the fucking thing. So we're like, So she's like, I'll just get the part and we'll do it ourselves. So I'm like, all right, we at least know what it is now. So anyway, yeah. So she was like in there fucking with that. And I did like the whole, I came in, I'm like, all right, I'm set up now. And then just kind of like, she didn't like acknowledge it. And she was obviously busy with the shit. And I should have just been like, hey, I'm ready to podcast. Can you like give me some space, please? You know, like the thing I tell my kids to say all the time, like, hey, give me some space. Use your words. And I didn't do any of that. I just like was like, you know, getting more and more pissy and just being like passive aggressive. I was just in a shit mood yesterday. And so like then I just finally was like, you know what, fuck it. I'm just going to go upstairs and play video games. So I went upstairs and just played video games. And then she came out and she was like, I thought you wanted to do a podcast. I was like, yeah, well, you didn't leave. And then it was like so much later in the day that it's like the day got away from me and I got busy. And I was like, and she was like, well, you can like, you know, do one like tonight when the kids go to bed. I was like, no, I'm already like out of the headspace to do it. Just being a fucking piece of shit for no reason. I don't know why. So I didn't get it done yesterday, long story short, you know what I mean, after all the bitching. But yeah, it's hard once you're like in the headspace, when you're like, all right, I'm going to podcast, you know what I mean? You got to get yourself mentally prepared to be like, all right, I'm going to talk for an hour. I've got to like, you know, keep the ums and the fucking space to a minimum while also not rambling and, you know, hoping I have enough shit to talk about that I don't have to like sit there and scroll fucking Instagram or something. So like, you know, when it gets to the point where you're like, you set it all up and like, cause I asked too, I was like, hey, can I set up and do it? And she said, yeah. And then she's got ADHD. You know what I mean? I got fucking ADHD. We're both the same. It's like you know, trying to get shit done, you get distracted. Like a dog with a squirrel. You're just like, oh, I can do this. I do it all the time. I'll go to like take pictures of t-shirts and I'm like, all right, well, I got to go clear a space to do this thing. And then I start clearing a space and then I find this other shit that I could take pictures of or do this with. So I start to do that. And then I just like, you know, the day goes by and I'm like, how did I get one of the things done that I wanted to get done? But then I got a bunch of other shit done. It just wasn't what was on my list. It just kind of happened along the way. But yeah, the most important thing that I wanted to get done is get this house cleaned. I hate going on vacations and coming back to the house being messy. I used to like not give a fuck, but since I have kids now, because it's like they're going to destroy it as soon as we walk in. You know what I mean? It's going to look like it's destroyed like as soon as we walk in. We're going to bring our shit in, put it down, because it's like, you know, we're going to be exhausted from traveling back, you know, however many hours driving, plus the week of the trip. Plus all the shit that I'm going to buy there. So that's all just going to come in. And then the kids are instantly going to start fucking with stuff. Taking out the toys they haven't seen in a week. Throwing them everywhere. So that's just, the basement's going to be a fucking disaster. I already know it's going to be a disaster. And it's like, oh, I could just leave it a mess. You know what I mean? And just come back to a mess. But like, I want to walk in for 2 seconds and be like, all right, it's clean. It's not my fault that it's dirty. And then immediately it gets dirty and messy and but yeah, I try, like, that's a new thing that I do. If we go on a vacation or go out somewhere, like leave for a few days, the house has to be clean before, because it's just like, otherwise it's too much. You get home and you're just like, I don't want to do shit, and then things don't get cleaned up. And I've also been trying to be big on like clean. So like the day after camping, like the day we got back, obviously I was like fucking exhausted. So the day we got back, I just like chilled out. And then the next day I just got up and started cleaning. But camping was fun. We go like every year. I haven't really talked about it yet. I thought that I had, but it's fun. We go every year. We've taken, the last 3 or 4 years maybe. whatever. So our friends have been going for a few years, and like they always get campsites, so we just kind of book with them. One of my friends there has two daughters, two daughters and a son now. The two girls are like around the same age as my girls. And it's funny, they haven't played like the last few years. They've like, maybe said 2 words to each other. And then the last night we were there, they kind of oh fuck, this is the fucked up mic cord. I hope it's not that bad for the sound, but so like the last night we were there, or we weren't even, it wasn't even the last night, it was just like we went there to hang out, and somehow like my oldest and the other oldest girl started talking about rocks. Hold on, let me pause this. Sorry, I thought I got rid of that cord. It like makes a little humming noise, and I thought I got rid of it, but apparently I did not. So I hope it doesn't fuck up the audio too much. I just noticed it, so hopefully it wasn't too bad the whole time. This was like the first time my daughter and my buddy's oldest daughter, like after like 3 years, like camping next to each other, having dinners, playing at the beach. And it's weird because like my kid always befriends people, but like for some reason these two just would not hang out. And then like the last night we were hanging out, they like all started hanging out together. So that was pretty cool. What was that noise? So yeah, and then other than that, it was like, I did some mushrooms. The first night we got there, it was like, you gotta like set up, and we do camping, tent camping. And at a certain point, we just need to invest in an RV. Somebody posted one for like $3,000. I was like, ooh. But I mean, obviously it's going to be a piece of shit. So I'd rather just wait and get something like a lot, like, not a lot better, but, marginally better than what was available at $3,000. But this year we were like, let's do, because I can't sleep on an air mattress. It doesn't matter how much you spend on an air mattress. You can spend $100 to $200 on it. It doesn't matter. They're going to be the same uneven, bouncy, shitty sleep. So I was like, I don't want to even deal with it. We're going to have to pump it up. It's going to be a whole thing. Like, let's just not even deal with it this year, and like try to get like a mattress pad. So our kids have one that's like really comfortable. So I wanted something like that, but my wife got like a fucking mattress topper from Walmart, and we should have put our yoga mats down. I think that would have helped a lot, but I just completely forgot. And it was not like my hips are still sore from sleeping, like when I was sleeping on my side, because you're just basically sleeping on the ground. So it was better than an air mattress, but it was not an optimum experience sleeping on a mattress pad. I did lay down because I had taken some edibles. On the first day I got there, I was like, I had to, I set up the whole site and shit. I told my wife, like, I'll just take the girls down to the lake while I set up, and you guys can go swim or whatever. And then, oh my gosh, I can hear my child crying out there. Who knows what that's about? I'm inside doing this. It's my wife's problem. Hold on, I hope this isn't coming into the house right now. All right. I'm not gonna concern myself with that. If I go over there, I'm gonna get dragged into something. It's probably nothing. If it was something, they would bang on the door or something and let me know I need to shut up. So anyway, yeah, the first day we got there was just like, a lot of setup, like a lot of bullshit. So I didn't drink. I've kind of been picking and choosing when I drink these days. So I was like, I'll do some edibles. And I was, when I do edibles and I'm tired, like at one point I was like, I had done like 4 of them. So like 40 milligrams. And I was like, oh, this shit's not really doing anything. And then all of a sudden it like fucking hit me, and I was like blazed. And it got to the point where I was super duper duper high, and like we were going to put the kids to bed. And so they were like kind of acting a fool. So I was like, all right, I'll lay down with you guys. Like, I'll chill with you guys for a minute. And like, that'll help you guys chill out or whatever. And so I remember my kid like rolling around, like causing a ruckus. And I was just like, all right, shh, whatever. And I passed out on their little mat pad. My wife like came in and was like, come on, what are you doing? The kids are asleep. And she like got me up, dragged me outside, and I just fell asleep on the chair out by the fire. Like I just was like the guy. I couldn't keep my head up. I was like, couldn't keep my eyes open. Just nodding out at the fire like almost immediately. So I went into bed and like just went right to sleep. So that night I slept fine. Like I actually got good night's sleep because I went to bed so early and woke up early. I mean, obviously woke up early. Anytime you go camping and you're in a tent, it's going to be fucking early. So got up early, felt good that day. Spent most of the day at the beach. They have like a little beach with like a pond and shit. So my kids just kind of swim and they're so tired by the end of the day. My oldest started swimming without her floaties. She's starting to learn how to swim underwater. So that was cool. We, got a bunch of family time in. We actually brought, we took my trailer because we got that trailer, whatever. And my father-in-law was like, oh, you can borrow my golf cart to take to camping. We asked if we could borrow it for camping because you can have golf carts there. We didn't even think, you know what I mean? Because he has it for his campsite. Like, we didn't even think like that you can't have this. It was gas powered. So like I, loaded it up on the trailer, brought it there, like, drove it off the trailer, unloaded it, did a couple laps around. And then it was like parked at the site and I was just kind of hanging out doing something. This lady rolled by. I don't know if she was security. I don't know if she worked there. I don't think she worked there because she said, oh, she's like, is this your personal one? I'm like, yeah. She's like, yeah, I don't think she's like, you're not supposed to have gas. They're probably going to come tell you to get rid of it. And so like in my head, I'm like, oh, they're going to come tell me to get rid of it. Like meaning like, oh, this lady definitely is going to either go and tell them or she already did tell them. You know what I mean? So then they like called my wife's phone and was like, oh, you have to take this thing and get it out of here. So I had to load it up again and take it and drive it all the way back home, which wasn't very far because they were going to charge us like, I think, to store it there somewhere, even though we had space on our site. It didn't really make any sense. So I was a little annoyed by that because it's like, dude, you could have told me that when I was driving it in. You know what I mean? The guy had a whole conversation with the guy at the front gate. He never once was like, oh, is that a gas or an electric one? You know what I mean? It's like he saw it on the back of my fucking vehicle and he didn't say anything. So that part I was a little annoyed about because I had to like, sorry, I just got distracted. My kid has like this little make your own nightlight thing. It actually says make you own nightlight. All the shit that they had, like people get for kids now, it's like just like shitty stuff from China. Make you own nightlight. Surprised it doesn't say night-right. Jesus, make you own night-right. So yeah, I was a little annoyed that I had to take it back. Like, I mean, it obviously wasn't a huge inconvenience, and and then it was like kind of acting up. Like I think I just needed to put some more gas in it, but like I didn't even get to the point of like trying to do that. So it was kind of a fail. Like we went all the way, drove a few hours to pick it up, hoping that we would be able to use it, and then we didn't even get to use it. So that kind of sucked. We got like one lap around it, but our buddy had one, so he took us for a ride one night, and then let me take it for a ride one time. So I mean, that's all we really need it for. Like, we were so close to everything this year that we didn't really need it. That's why we didn't really want to pay for one. So, it's whatever. It worked out. We still had a good time, despite the fact that we didn't have a golf cart. But then I felt like, I kind of felt like the scene from Game of Thrones after I loaded it up and I was leaving, where they're like, shame, shame. He was the fucking exiled gas golf cart haver. I had to go fucking leave, take off. while my family stayed behind without me. So, but that was cool. You know, my kids love to do the s'mores thing. We I sent my wife to go get the little tanks of propane on the way out there, and she was like, they didn't have any, so she didn't stop anywhere else. So we had like just enough propane. We didn't even have enough propane. We ran out making breakfast the day we were leaving. So I got through making bacon, and then that was it. And I was like slightly annoyed. Like, motherfucker. Because I was not hungover. I'd had a few drinks the night before. I drank some session IPAs. And those were like enough to like, because they kind of fill you up. So I only had like 4 or 5 of those throughout, like, you know, from like 3 o'clock on. So it was all right. I mean, camping trips out of the way. This week we're going up to Maine. So that should be good. I really hope I find some good shit. Let me see what else I got to talk about. I'm hoping I have some other stuff. Oh yeah, and then I went. There was a couple things. So I went to a sale like, was it 2 weeks ago, or maybe it was last week? Might have been last week. So I drove out to the sale, and like I got there like 20 minutes of, and like they had tarps over stuff they weren't set up yet. So I was like, oh, I'll leave and come back. Like, for some reason, like the ad didn't seem like it was calling to me or whatever. I was just like, I'll leave and come back. And then like I started driving to this other one. I was like, I really don't feel like coming back to this one. By the time I turn around and get there, it should be open or whatever. So I turn around, get there, and there's a few people there now. I would have been first one there, but there's a bunch of shit I didn't really want. But then I saw that there was like some CDs, so I went over to the CDs, and it was like all metal and rock and a bunch of shit. So I just, you know, the guy originally wanted, I think, $1 a piece. I was like, oh, will you give me a deal if I buy a bunch of them? He's like, yeah, sure. So I grabbed like all the rock, all the hip hop. I just like a huge stack of them. And he was like, how about $20? I was like, sure, perfect. You know what I mean? That was what I was going to offer. So I went through, and it was like all, you know, all of them are whatever value, you know, they'll sell in a lot all day. But then I found one, it was like a Godsmack album, because they're like from this area. But it was an old album. Some of the song names are familiar from their first like major LP. But like, yeah, so it was like that album, and then there was like a single from Godsmack. It had like similar lettering, you know, and so it was like from the same era. So a lot of them were sold, but without that second disc. So I have mine listed for like $250 right now. We'll see if it sells for anywhere near that. I'll probably get like $100 for it, but still, you know, that's one CD, and then the rest I'll sell as a lot, $20 into that. Pretty good, solid investment. So I am glad that I turned around and went back to that sale. Yeah, for some reason I just was like, I drove all the way over to that sale, and I was like, I don't feel like waiting. It's like, I'm gonna waste my time waiting here. And so I just like turned around and left, and then for some reason I was like, just go back. Like, there's not that many sales. Like, what the fuck are you doing? So I just turned around, went back, and yeah, was glad I did, because that was actually pretty good. Talked about that. Talked about my $10 storage unit. Sorry, I'm just trying to go over. Oh, there's like I had a kid's birthday, 2 kids' birthday parties this weekend. Like I said, went to my buddies. They had like a water slide thing. Everybody was making fun of me for drinking non-alcoholic beers and calling me Pablo Escobar. My hair's like naturally curly, but I've like never known what to do with it till I had a daughter with curly hair, and I had to like look it up. So I was like, oh, I'll just do the same shit I'm doing with her. And so my hair is like a lot more curly. Like, it's already been curly, but it just like looked like shit because I didn't put anything in it, like conditioner or anything like that. And so now it's like long and kind of curly and shit. But I'm like, you know, I've got a bald spot growing in the back. So it's like I'm like, oh, this is my hair's last hurrah. And I always said I wasn't going to be one of those people that was going to like hold on. But I'm like, I don't think it looks too bad. I saw a picture of Adam Sandler or some shit playing basketball, and he looked almost exactly the same. So I was like, all right, it's not that bad. But my buddies all were calling me Pablo Escobar all day. They're like, you look like Pablo Escobar from that Netflix show. Specifically, not the actual Pablo Escobar. It was the Pablo Escobar from the Netflix shows Narcos. They were like, yeah, you don't look like the actual guy. But you look like Pablo Escobar from Narcos. So, but yeah, those are always, and then we had a kid's birthday party, and those are always exhausting because you got to clean and do hella shit. And then kids just come and fuck everything up anyway. We weren't sure if our pool was going to be up in time for the party, but we luckily got the pool together and everything ready before the actual party. So, because a few weeks out, like a week or so into the summer, we went to open the pool, and it was fucked up. So we spent a bunch of time doing that. Really wish we didn't have to spend all that time doing it, but whatever, it got done. It's over with. So, yeah, we were able to have kids play with that. We have the slip and slide and all that shit. So it ended up being a good weekend. Kids all had fun. Nobody got stung by a bee. Sometimes kids come here and get stung by bees. We did actually have a huge fucking wasp's nest. Because I have a deck over, there's a carport area, so we were hanging out under there because it's shady. And after we'd been there for a few hours, my buddy was like, hey, did you see this bee's nest here? And I look up and it's just a fucking fat wasp's nest. Luckily it wasn't yellow jackets, those fucking shitty ass fucking stinger motherfuckers. So I had to we just left it. We were like, all right, whatever. We've been here for a few hours, just nobody fuck with them. They didn't fuck with anybody or bother anybody, but it had to go. It was right where it was going to be a problem. So that evening I ran up the street to the store, grabbed some fucking Raid, and I just fucking murdered that entire colony of wasps. Don't ever feel proud about doing it, but I always look at it as I'm protecting my family, you know what I mean? I wouldn't just be out here murdering bugs for no reason. I try to always avoid them. If I'm walking, I'm like, oh, there's an ant right there. Obviously sometimes you're just walking, you don't see shit, you step on it. It happens. Man, bug slaughter instead of insecticide. But yeah, I don't intentionally like to fucking murder hornets and shit, but if you're right where my kids are gonna be, I will murder the fuck out of you. So I can justify it by that. It's either my children getting fucking My Girl 2'd. Was that My Girl 2 or My Girl 1? I think it was My Girl 1. Or Macaulay Culkin gets stung to death by the hornets. Valuable life lessons. I talk about Macaulay Culkin movies, I think, more than any other movies. I just don't, you don't even realize how many movies that dude was in as a kid. You're just he was just in every movie. You know what I mean? My Girl, Richie Rich, The Good Son, Home Alone. I feel like there's other ones that he just kind of popped up in. There's one I saw the other day that I completely forgot about. I was like, oh yeah, he was in that movie too. He's been in hella shit. I don't remember. So then anyway, yeah, so last week, still I was driving around after, so got those CDs, got a couple things. It still wasn't a great day. And then I got a text from this guy that I've, the homie that always gives me some yard sale leads or whatever. So I got a text from him, and he sent me pictures of just boxes of t-shirts. And he's like, you better get over to this sale. There's a bunch of t-shirts. And so I was like, I didn't even know what the prices were. I just saw there was a ton of t-shirts. It looked like they had tags. And I was like, all right, we'll take a trip over there. So I shoot over there. I get there was some lady already looking through the t-shirts. I fucking hate when that happens. I was like, obviously I didn't know about this sale. It wasn't advertised. I don't know where he found it. He said he saw it advertised. I never could find it. So she only grabbed a few things, but it's I wish I had gotten there before all that shit had been picked over. Like if I had gotten first pick at that shit, oh my god, there's had to have been a lot more better t-shirts. But I still got some fucking bangers. I sold one for $90 to a friend of mine who I know from the area. He sells vintage clothes, and he wanted it for his collection. So I sold that one shirt to him. It was like an old MTV shirt. I couldn't find the same one. I found it eventually, like afterwards. So I sold it for right around what it would have sold for anyway, probably. I mean, obviously, if there's none listed right now, I could have tried to get a little bit more, but that shit doesn't really work right now. I don't know. I think things just kind of go for what the market value of them are currently. But yeah, so I got there, and the lady's like, "Do you want a $10 bag or a $20 bag to fill up?" And I was like, "I'll start with a $10 bag." And so she was like letting me stuff T-shirts in there. So I probably got like 50 T-shirts and like a couple other things. Like I got this thing that I could probably sell for like 25. So I spent $50. I filled up like 4 of the $10 bags and then like got a couple things. So like I overpaid on the other things, but I was like, I'm getting a great deal. You know what I mean? I already spent $50. I already sold the t-shirt for 90 cash. You know, I almost doubled my money right away. And I could still sell a bunch more. So I haven't even started getting the other ones listed. There's a couple other bangers. There was like a Seinfeld one. I posted a couple of the hits on my my Instagram. But like, yeah, there was a ton of t-shirts. That just like, you know, not everyone's a home run, but you know, they're all cooler older t-shirts. There's a Truffle Shuffle one from the Goonies that I'm like, fuck, I might want to keep that one. But the material is like, it's that thicker, like, you know, heather color material that's like almost always warmer. You know, I don't like fucking hot t-shirts. I have a Joe Rogan Experience t-shirt that I got before he was like, you know, a controversial figure. I've had it for years. And it's like the material on it is so soft and like it doesn't even feel like you're wearing anything when you're wearing a t-shirt. You know what I mean? That's how I like my t-shirts. So like in the summer when I'm wearing t-shirts, I don't even wear t-shirts based on what's on them. If you see me wearing a t-shirt in the summer, it's because it was the coolest temperature-wise t-shirt that I could find. So I'll be, you know, I walk around with this Joe Rogan shirt, and obviously I still like Joe Rogan. I'm not fucking, you know, hating on the guy. I like Joe Rogan, but like I'm not wearing that shirt all the time because I'm like, ooh, I'm going to make a statement that I stand with Joe Rogan. I'm just like, this shirt is fucking, when it's a million degrees, it's just a chill t-shirt. Even though it's black, it just doesn't make me feel like I'm hot as fuck. I get super hot. Like I have to sleep with like the AC blasting and the fans going. And anyway, so yeah, back to this t-shirt haul. So yeah, all types of stuff, like a bunch of t-shirts. And it was crazy. It could have been like a crazier haul. I know there's probably more stuff before that fucking, oh God. It was one of those things. It's like, the places that your mind goes when you're a reseller. It's like, I got to this crazy t-shirt haul that I paid maybe $1 a t-shirt after like, you know, buying the other stuff, like everything was loaded together. And then like, I'm like, oh, I wish I had gotten there earlier. You know what I mean? Like, what if I had gotten there earlier and gotten more stuff? But it is what it is. I got some good shit. I've been selling some good shit. Those plush have been like going like crazy. Of course, I'm almost out of those. But, you know, I've got the t-shirts that I'm slowly listing. Those shoes have been selling for me. I sold a few more pairs of those other shoes that I got in that big lot of stuff. So it's been, you know, busier, I think, than normal in the summer, which is good because normally after the summer is when I get busier. So if I can stay busy going into like the fall, into like December, that would be awesome. So I'm trying to keep the momentum going. Last year, I slowed down on buying shit. I got to like this point in the summer and I was just like, oh, I'm not going to keep buying shit. But this year, I'm like a little bit more ahead of the game. I don't have other bills that I had before. And like I'm almost done getting one of the next credit card paid off. So then I have like one left. And then that one I should be able to just bang out. And then once that shit's done, then I should start seeing some good money, man. Because I'm doing well. I'm fucking working hard. But it's just these dumbass credit cards that I got when I was younger and fucking more retarded. It's like there's no... You know what I mean? Like, I was just spending on stupid shit. Not even stupid shit. I was like, oh, I'll just buy this for the reselling business, and then like I'll make that money back. You know, thinking that it was gonna stay the way it was forever, and I just should have, I had no financial training or experience, or it's all stuff I'm trying to learn, like how to not be a complete moron with my money. And my wife, helps with that. She's kind of smarter about that stuff. I don't know who taught her, but she tells me shit. So, but yeah, man, that t-shirt haul, it was like in the middle of nowhere too. They had nothing else good. Like all their other stuff like sucked. It was all junk. They had some like motorcycle parts that I'm sure somebody could have bought and sold. But all the t-shirts were just like, and I asked the lady, I was like, oh, where did you get all these t-shirts? Because it was just like, all different sizes. And like, she was like, oh, I got them from somebody who, she said like, I just like t-shirts. Anytime I would go to a yard sale and I would find t-shirts, like I would just buy them. I was like, okay. I mean, you did the work for me. I got to go through all these. But I'm sure I'm going to find one in there, because there's like some random like musician t-shirts that are like not like, you know what I mean? There's like private concert t-shirts and like shit that you don't see all the time. Not necessarily like classic rock. There's like one metal band t-shirt in there. But yeah, those are the type, like I want, I want more. I wanted it to be a better, like it was when you're pulling them at the time, you're like, oh, this is an amazing haul. And then I finally got to look at them, and don't get me wrong, it is a great haul, but it's not as great as like it could have been, I'm sure. So I still have to think about that. I got a new video game, Kingdom Come Deliverance 2, which is it's like an RPG first person type game. And it is hard as fuck. Like, it's the first game. I like it. I'm enjoying it so far, but I've not done dick. There's like three main quests that you can do to start the game. I've not completed any of. There was one that like that they tell you like, oh, there's some fresh graves over at this area, and so like I stole a shovel, went over there and dug these graves up, and got some shit like that. And then the other things that I have to do, I still have not completed them. Like, it's fucking hard. You have to, like, feed yourself. And, like, if you steal some shit, like, if you're in a town and you steal something, obviously if you get caught, you get, in trouble. But, like, if you steal something and you don't get caught and you're just kind of in the area being suspicious, they'll, like, think it was you. And then, like, you know what I mean? So if you steal a bunch of shit, you need to, like, leave the fucking area. So right now, I like stole some shit. So I had gone on like a stealing spree, but I didn't realize I did it at night. So nobody realized until like the next day that I had stolen shit. And so like I got an alert that was like, so then but I forgot to save. Saving is a bitch in this game. You have to remember to do it all the time. Otherwise you're fucked. And, so I forgot to save after stealing all this shit. And so I had to do it again. But when I went to go do it again, it was during the morning. So I stole some shit, like, same way I did the night before. And somebody realized their shit was missing because I did it during the day. And then it was like, you've been suspected, and they know it was you because based on behavior. And so the guards are looking for you. So I was like, I'm just getting the fuck out of this town. So I left. And then you can't go back. You can't go back for a few days. You just got to wait until they forget about it. But I went back. I snuck back because like I found there's like these honey things outside of the town. So I snuck back in the middle of the night and I went and stole that honey because I was like, dude, I don't know what the fuck to do. I don't have any money. I don't have any weapons. Like, and I looked online. I was like, there's a bunch of honey you can take right off the bat, and it's good for food, and it also is worth a decent amount of money. So I just stole a bunch of fucking honey, went back in the middle of the night from this town that I was already banned from, and stole a bunch of shit and then dipped out. So it's fun. You know what I mean? I'm just very poverty stricken, and I'm just trying to like get like normal games after playing this many hours in. I'd be way further. I've not gotten anywhere. Nowhere. But I'm enjoying it. So anyway, that's the podcast. Sorry I was so late with this one. I kind of missed a week. This will be the episode 69. That's always a fun one to say. So then, yeah, next week will be episode 70. I started getting stuff together for the Patreon mystery box. So that's going to be one of the things included with the Patreon subscription is every month you'll get entered into into a raffle if you're a Patreon member. And the winner of each month will get a little reseller like mystery box. So I've got like a new old stock logo athletic hat that I'm throwing in this one. Every month it'll be different. It'll be like a vintage T-shirt and stuff that you can either resell or keep or gift to whoever. But so that's going to be one of the things if you sign up for the Patreon. And that the tiers will probably start at like $5 a month, and probably not go up too much from there. And then, there'll be like an extra episode, a bonus episode per week. It'll be a different show. I haven't decided what the show's going to be yet. If it'll just be like me and my wife, or like I'm talking about like the wife side of being the wife of a reseller. But anyway, yeah, stay tuned. That's like a few weeks out. That'll be like, I think episode 75 is when I'm going to release the Patreon. So I want to have it like concrete and locked down, and I'll, just stay tuned and you'll know when I know. But like the show, subscribe, tell friends, and make sure you hit that notification so you can find out when new episodes drop every single week. Peace.